So I like how this place has become like a graveyard of destroyed pins, big pins, and and Crystal Light.
Beer bottles too. You do clean those up, but hello, podcast people. We've got some important things to talk about. According to my notes right here, if you would come on, feel the noise.
Oh,
there would be some girls rocking boys, and they would go.
And they would
iterations
go
of wild, multiple iterations.
Definitely.
Why do you have this sitting here? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. Oh, is this the lyrics to?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Is.
That's really funny because it's on your side, so obviously
it is on my
you
side,
grabbed it.
But I didn't put it there. It was
because I don't
waiting
sit
for
on
me.
your side of the table. Ever.
This is like
even when you're gone and I'm here podcasting.
Was this to make them think that we had stuff written down like sometimes?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Because that's what it seemed like to me. Like, that was my logical explanation.
No, that was from. I wrote those down when I did like an emo cover of Wild. Let's get Wild.
Is that the name of the title?
Come on, feel the noise.
That's probably maybe subtitled Wild.
Yeah.
Well, that actually explains everything perfectly. You don't need to go any further. I completely
did that. I also have. I have the lyrics to a metric song over here too, with the chord progression.
Nice. Nice.
I was working on an acoustic cover of that also.
All right. I'm going to assume this is for some sort of art project.
The Wild, or Come On Feel the Noise was. This is
That's just your own private.
Yeah.
Your own private.
Yep. Because I don't know. Every time I listen to Metric, I'm like, man, this would be a really good like acoustic.
All right. Well, I kind of want to hear this. So.
It's not ready yet.
No. How long have you been working on that?
I've worked on it for a grand total of maybe 5 hours.
Okay. I thought I'd seen that piece of paper laying there a few times, so I thought maybe this was a week's
Not
experience.
this particular one, no.
Okay.
No.
This one, though, yes.
That one,
for a long time.
yeah, it's, that was a long time
normal
ago.
notes to cover it
It's
up,
on
so.
YouTube. You can find it.
Oh, you made this?
Hey! I was kind of wondering if you also agree that that the singularity is going to destroy us all.
Well, it's going to remove any purposeful meaning of the word individual, so I guess, yeah. I mean, I could see it still existing as a singularity. Are we talking about the singularity, like capital S, like where we all become machines?
The Kurzweil, yeah.
Okay.
Or when machines become conscious.
Well, okay, so we're not talking about us transhumanizing into machines.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Okay, well, in that case, yes, I do see that as killing us.
It's going to kill us all.
Probably going to kill us all. So. If we do become the machines, I could see that maybe working out in some way.
Oh, really?
Or we'll just be like some sort of artificial construct of like a video game for.
We'll be the throbbing mega brain.
Yeah. That's what that's my hope in life is to become
throbbing mega brain.
That is what I'm aiming for.
Yeah. So.
Was there some new news on this? Was there a new article that came out?
No, not really. I think recently Google created a computer that taught itself how to play Go.
Oh.
Like the Chinese chess.
That's a hard game to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of
so they
unnerving.
Built a machine that would figure out how to play the game and how to use foresight to try to anticipate other players' moves.
Fair enough.
Apparently, that's a pretty big fucking deal.
It seems like it. I mean, it's one thing when you're programming it in, but if you're basically just setting up the constraints for the thing to learn itself,
right,
and to teach itself how to do something, I think that's.
Yeah. I think the question is like it's still, like. So even the best chess computers or whatever, chess programs or whatever, don't know that they're playing chess.
Mm-hmm.
So
of course not. Yeah.
Right, so it's almost like a call and response or whatever.
Yeah.
But having something that would strategize, I guess.
On its own, yeah, and not only that, to learn both the rules and how far you can, I guess, push those rules and use that against a human opponent. I mean, I don't know that I would consider that thing knowing that it's playing Go or anything, but it's certainly a step closer, I guess.
Yeah.
It would seem to me.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I guess the difference in the programming is that, like, for a chess program, then the programming is different for chess because you can play a game of chess by just reacting to your player's moves.
Sure, and that's mostly what the other one.
That's what the other one did. But I guess in some respects, like, Google's not exactly sure how the program that they've created is playing.
I always enjoy that with.
So I think that's
whenever dealing with artificial intelligence.
I think that's a really interesting thing, though, because if we do create artificial consciousness at some level, it's going to surpass probably our understanding.
I think that's been the
because I mean, if we can explain everything about it, like, it seems like that is sort of it's like, oh, well, we built this particular algorithm or whatever, and
well, then it's
following its program, right? But
well, that's kind of been the argument, as far as I know, of how it would progress towards true artificial intelligence anyways, that iterations become more and more complex until they can only be serviced or created by the generation before it, and anyone who created the original generation would have no understanding of what was actually going on in the processes there. So that's I mean, if I recall correctly, I think that's even how, like, Asimov's stories have the ideas that these are things that have created other things that created other things, and they finally grew into,
well, I think that's
indistinguishable of consciousness,
kind of tied up in the idea of singularity, right? In that at some point we'll create a machine that figures out how to improve itself. And then basically, if you have something that maximizes its programming efficiency or whatever, you have a consciousness that comes online and then kind of hiccups for a little bit, and then when it comes back from the hiccup, it's like 1,000,000 times more powerful than
I think that was
the thing that you created. I think that is when we die.
Hey, you know what, man? I'll tell you what. If it ends like her ended,
if it ends like her,
then I'm gonna be happy.
I never actually watched Her.
You didn't watch Her?
I didn't.
Oh man, it is so good.
I know. I've heard a lot of really good things about it.
I mean, it's depressing, but it's so good.
I knew it was going to be depressing. I was like, so
many high-waisted pants, man.
She's gonna.
I'm telling you, Joaquin Phoenix, he has never worn pants so high before.
Those, I think I was having a conversation earlier today about high-waisted pants.
There you go. And you got spilling into the modern consciousness.
We were trying to figure out if that was still a thing.
I think Her brought it back a little bit.
I think hipster kids probably do a lot of high-waisted.
I know a couple, and I would probably consider them hipster kids. So yeah.
I think that's generally
kind of tracks.
Yeah. Correlation.
Yep.
Not necessarily causation.
Yes, exactly.
I guess we could just say that it's still slightly fringe.
Yeah. That's
which I can't.
I'm reasonably happy with that.
Yeah, because I have troubles envisioning like how it can possibly be comfortable to wear pants above your navel.
I don't know. If you got a prodigious belly and you need to give it some more support, I guess. That seems like that would still be pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, but even then, like, the end result of high-waisted pants is not one of belly support. I don't think. What
is the end result of high-waisted pants?
I believe they call it a fupa.
Okay.
Which is the front upper pussy area.
Fupa. That's fascinating because I've met some men who wear wives of pants.
Yes,
too, so.
I've seen that happen.
Interesting.
I've seen that happen on a couple of occasions.
I'm gonna have to bring up this point to them. I'm gonna have to argue this and see if what is their beliefs, their stances on the fupa.
On the fupa, I don't know. I've probably just offended the internet.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of...
Hey, we're gonna do that one where we talk about feminism. So I mean, we'll either recover all of our cred or we'll just set it all alight and turn it down.
Talking of feminism, so Richard Dawkins, I guess, posted some tweets that got him uninvited to the Northeast Conference of Science and Skepticism.
Oh, what did he say? Do you know?
He posted a tweet that was basically like, feminists and ISIS want the same thing, or whatever. And it was really
that seems like a bit of a reach.
I wasn't able to find the source meme or whatever, because he took it down, I guess.
I mean, I would like to, because I want to see that line that's been drawn between those two, because I'm not following it as much.
I think it's supposed to be sort of a play on the idea that like third wave feminists or whatever, who are like really pushing a sort of puritanical anti-sex sort of ideology, and it's like I don't know. I guess I see where it comes from. Sort of the idea, like, I don't know, for in the art communities, there's a lot of that's like a reoccurring theme, is that like in order for a woman to be in a museum, then she has to be naked or whatever. Basically. Yeah. But like, I don't know, you kind of lose me at the radical. Like, I understand that, and that's in some ways that's kind of true, and I definitely don't agree with that. But at the same time, like, I thought sort of the origination of the feminist movement was sort of the idea that sex is a normal part of life, and
that was my understanding about it.
We should all sort of,
we should treat people with like the same standards of sexual mores, and then on top of that also get rid of some of the more ridiculous ones.
Right, like, I thought we were trying to put an end to slut shaming instead of having feminists that were slut shamers, essentially, I guess.
Reverse slut shamers.
Reverse slut shamers,
They're shaming you not for being promiscuous, but for feeding into the idea of promiscuity, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I kind of like promiscuity. Yeah. What's wrong with promiscuity?
It doesn't seem that bad. Practice responsibly.
Practice responsibly. Okay, so I guess be safe, people. Yeah. But otherwise, we're all adults here, and if everybody agrees on what should happen, then by God, who am I to say no?
Oh man, that reminds me. Did you hear about that shit with that guy who was pro-rape? Pro for the legality of rape. He had like this.
I saw you posted that.
That shit.
I saw a couple of other people post it too, but I was just like, I can't fall down that hole right now.
It's a hole, man. It's like, it's gaping. It is.
It's like
a yawning hole.
Because do we really need to be giving this guy attention right now?
How do you even arrange a group like that? Like, to have like, I mean, like, if it was like, it's just this guy and that was just his opinion, he was just like crazy guy on the internet screaming, about whatever crazy guys on the internet screaming about aliens, I assume.
Sure.
Fine. But apparently there was like some actual like, there were meeting members, like there were people that were on board with this, and of course. I mean, I guess there's a place for everyone in the world. But I did appreciate some of the like responses where Sheer basically was just talking about how women were going to assault them illegally. proposing to assault them legally. I guess it was baffling. It's a baffling story, and
well, I'm
glad that he got.
I blame Twitter. I'm not gonna lie.
It's reasonable.
I blame Twitter for giving a voice to the most unreasonable people.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, too, you want to keep that like on Twitter. Like, I mean, people say some crazy shit online, but like you're gonna take that into the real world and like try to actually like get a rally going for that. That's, I don't know. Free speech is one thing. That's a. The only thing I would say would be like I would almost let them do it just because I think that.
Hey man, if they want to have meetings and try to take that to court, that's fine. Your right to promote rape ends at rape.
That's kind of my there's a definitive line there that can or cannot be crossed.
My right to swing my fist ends at your.
I don't even know where to go with this. It's such a baffling story.
It's kind of one of the reasons why I never really got into it. It was I don't see this going anywhere that's going to end positively.
Yeah. Well, I guess they canceled their rally, so because a group of this is what I heard. Who knows whether this is true, but a group of feminist boxers like started making threats against them, and I thought that was kind of endearing.
Go boxers.
I mean, if you're gonna like create like a thing, and the cause is to threaten other people's safety and stuff, it's only fair trade that you get
a little bit back. If you can't dish it out, don't take it.
Yeah, but that is kind of the problem with rapists, right?
It, don't dish it out. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can't,
that is sort
dish
of
it out, don't take it. yes. I think the other one was the correct way.
Because the first one doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. No, it makes none sense. Literally none.
None. Absolutely none.
Not negative, but none at this point. So,
right.
Anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it seems to be a pretty odd stance to be on. I mean, most rapists are pretty private about their feelings of rape.
That's true. You don't find a lot of rape activists. So, I mean, in one sense, it's like, we have this power to say whatever we want. In the other sense, that means that, there are people in the world actively searching to promote ideas that are coming from the wackiest fucking people on the face of the planet.
Fair enough.
And we end up, I don't know, we kind of end up having a lot of fake arguments and stuff.
Yeah, which is maybe the bigger issue why you would want to avoid those sorts of holes, because it does sort of distract from anything of value. I mean, I can't see that actually going anywhere.
So, like, Donald Trump, somebody's doing the raping, right? So, like, despite the fact that the premise is ridiculous and that Mexican immigrants are, coming across the border to rape and, pillage or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard him say that, yeah.
But, a day later, 24 hours later, Fox News, and then Fox News picks it up and starts treating it like it's a legitimate subject, like that is legitimately happening.
What?
And then, of course, you have CNN has to chime in on the subject.
You can't have one of them talk about something and the other ones aren't going to.
And so now you have all of the major news networks talking about who's doing the raping. Personally, I think it's Donald Trump.
I would, if it was one of them, I would. If anyone in the listed story were doing the raping, I would say
who's doing the. You give me a lineup. And you say who's doing the raping? Is it the day laborer or is it Donald Trump?
Probably Donald Trump.
I'm gonna buzz in on Donald Trump pretty much every time.
I understand that. I mean, he's not demonstrated any reasonable restraint in a lot of areas. So
right.
Why not?
Integrity is not his thing. I think. I think we can confidently say that at this point.
Yeah. Fair. So I mean, I guess it's the problem with the 24-hour news cycle is that you're always looking for a story. Well, one of the problems, yes, fair enough. But I mean, whoever had that idea was a terrible person, I think.
Yeah.
That's just bad. It's a bad idea.
24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
Because then we get to talk
news
about, whether or not an airplane fell into a black hole over the
right. Yeah.
Indian Ocean.
With all the like seriousness of like trying to practically investigate that, but none of the actual.
We've been talking about black holes.
Work. Yeah.
No, nobody's been talking about that.
I'm pretty sure hey, it's the internet. There was one guy talking about black holes.
There was some asshole on Twitter,
That's right.
and then he got retweeted to someone at BuzzFeed. Then BuzzFeed retweeted to somebody at Gawker, and then Gawker retweeted to everybody.
I did miss
and then Reuters picked it up.
Well, yeah.
And then it was AP.
Reuters gets everything. But yeah. If you're gonna be, was that an actual like? I heard talk about that, but I don't think I ever heard any of the talk about that. Was that an actual?
It was real.
Talk?
It happens. We could totally look it up if you want.
I don't know if it's worth that.
No, it's not. Really it's definitely not.
So,
but I can prove that it exists. Let's just put that.
All right, I'm on board for that. I'm on board for that. That's the willingness to commit that I've got. That's my level. So yeah, like let's take it back to robots, I guess. Reading about some things that are like starting to, arguably pass the Turing test. Do you know what the Turing test is?
Yeah. I've seen Ex Machina. I fucking know.
Okay, good. Did they talk about that in Ex Machina?
Oh, yes, they did.
Okay.
Have you not seen that movie?
No, I've not seen that movie. You haven't seen Her. So, I mean, come on.
Yeah, but Ex Machina is better than Her.
I don't know. I don't know. Her's pretty good.
I guarantee.
All right, you watch Her, I'll watch Ex Machina. We'll go together in a week.
Exchange notes.
Figure out what's going on with that. I guess that makes sense that they would talk about the Turing test. That seems like
the premise of the movie is the Turing test.
Yeah. But anyway, I was reading about some that have arguably started to pass that. But I guess the interesting differentiating between that and the other one is, that's mostly based on what a human being can capably say is a non-human being, I guess, whereas the other aspect of that story that you're talking about has more to do with what the programming itself is capable of, and no understanding of human being parts. So I don't know, that probably should have been thrown in earlier when we were talking about that. not at this point. So let's talk about Iowa. What's going on with Iowa? How do you feel about that shit?
The coin toss?
Well, I meant
are you talking
just
about
like the
overall?
Yeah, just the overall experience, the rise of the small man.
The rise of the small man.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Ted Cruz?
No, I was talking about how Bernie Sanders got at least half of it.
I think I kind of actually expected that.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's actually...
Well, all polling...
I don't know that I expected it in Iowa.
All polling for like the past couple of months has been that they've been neck and neck in Iowa.
That's true. I guess that is true. We're
talking about Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, by the way, in case anybody's not picking up on the notes that we're dropping down.
I was very surprised that it went to that close, I guess. But like you said, there were some polling and things to suggest that. Yeah. I just always assume that those sorts of things are pretty wildly inaccurate, or that something terrible is going to happen.
They are skewed. There are parts of our political process that skew it toward the most embattled ideologues.
Sure.
So, like, the people that vote happen to, I think a lot of times, like, voting is sort of an extremist action.
Yeah, it certainly seems so. Most people feel like, at least my generation and stuff, feel like it's mostly a useless expression. There's a lot of rising people that...
I think there's things that you could do to make it not so much, but I think the fact that, that culturally and sort of like I think there should be a holiday. I think that we should be able to do it from our phones or whatever, or both.
I definitely see practical. I certainly think that having it on like a
But
phone level,
having a polling place that closes at 5 o'clock in the evening, and I think technically you're supposed to be able to get time off from work if you need it to vote or whatever. But
I've never had anyone that I've known of asked for or received that, so I might try to do that just because I don't mind taking a day off work. I thought one thing. So like with the caucuses,
I could be wrong about that actually.
One of them that was going to this wasn't one that flipped the coin, which is an altogether ridiculous process anyway, but this was one where
we just decide important political issues,
right? And how did she win
flipping
6
the coin
in a fucking row, man? Sketchy.
There's a regression to the mean eventually,
sketchy. But anyway, but like
there's bound to be some repeats.
So this one that was going on, I want to say Polk County, but I could be completely off on that. It was kind of interesting. It enlightened me to the process of like these people have to go there and they have to stay there for hour upon hour upon hour, and then when called for a recount, it does, they go to a majority vote. Who wants to stay there for another fucking 2 hours to recount all these fucking votes or whatever it's going to take? So they just kind of went with the original assumption, which was actually incredibly inaccurate. Based on the video that I was watching from it, you can kind of see like the process that was going on, where Hillary Clinton counted new voters without counting the old voters again, but then counted like ones that had left and assumed that it went from Bernie Sanders' side and stuff like that, and it's a bumbling fucking process.
I saw that. It was a mess. It's a good thing it's largely a meaningless process.
Sure. And that was kind of...
It's not necessarily true, but...
Well, so the one thing that it showed me was that it was actually... I've seen like progressive runners before, and they all have like exciting rallies and stuff, but then when the time comes down, they don't get the numbers to come out and vote for them. This time is a little different with the funding that I've been seeing from him, being able to manage to stay abreast of, other candidates without any sort of backing from a significant party. But I am like half convinced he's
I love how you keep looking at those lyrics. They're your show notes.
They get wild, man. see guys, they get wild 3 times.
They do get wild.
But I'm like half convinced that someone's going to assassinate that dude before he ever gets into office.
You think so? I don't think they'll have to. I think it'll be close enough. And by somebody, I assume you meant the Democratic National Convention.
I think there's a few people who'd probably want to kill him, to be quite honest, if he were able to get... which is, to be quite honest, I don't know that he practically has the ability to make the changes that are needing to be changed, but I can see some groundwork being
from
made.
From a certain point of view, I think you're right. But because one of the things that from listening to like Congressional Dish and like from learning more about the actual workings of the political process, I'm really convinced that the fact that we hate Congress so much and yet we don't vote in the congressional elections for these, like, voter turnout for Congress is terrible. It's worse than the presidential turnout, which is horrible.
Already terrible,
But and I think it's like we've got to focus on Congress. Really, because
that seems to be, that's the one that you want to.
And it's really interesting because we think of like the popular vote is the one that for the president every 4 years or whatever. But the congressional elections are the ones that elect the people that are supposed to represent us. Specifically,
the president is not actually supposed to be representing us.
It's like you have the judicial branch that represents the courts. You have the legislative branch, which it's supposed to represent us. but money has a lot more to do, you know, in the election process of Congress than actual votes do, because we don't pay attention, and it's not a sexy race, and it's cheap.
Definitely. you don't get near the coverage for one. It's also something that happens frequently enough. I mean, not on one person, but since they do that staggered voting for it. Yeah, I think, what is it, every 2 years or something like that?
There's 2 years.
So you've got this like continual race of people that aren't trying to necessarily win the hearts and minds, as it were. It's also a lot more focused because they're dealing with certain areas. So it's... it's interesting.
You know, such a huge percentage of a job in Congress is you know, seeking donations.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I've always heard, like, from anyone that's going into Congress new, is like that's pretty much what you're devoting your time
it's
to.
like 8 to 10 hours a day on the phones, begging for money, and then the rest of it just kind of...
I think there's also quite a few, like, compelling quotes where they ask, you know, people from Congress, like, what your job description is, and it's get reelected is my job description. Pass bills says a secondary thing, and so, I mean, while you want that, like, head leader of the world, figurehead, to be a representative of what you want, it's not a practical way of changing anything.
And by the way, far be it for me to like to be on the side of, you know, of somebody that works in government. I mean, but like I think the average pay rate for a member of the Senate is like $210,000 a year
for the rest of your life, right?
And they're no, it's just
they get some sort of
a pension when they're done,
but it's like a pretty big pension.
Yeah, it's a good one. But I mean, like, but. Okay, so like living money, $210,000 a year, and they're expected to live both in the state they represent and in the most expensive city in the world.
Yeah.
In Washington, D.C. Because they're supposed to have a residence in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, I mean, that's kind of like a recipe for
asking for
bribery to become sort of part of the mechanism.
Which it has.
I mean, and like I said, far be it for me to argue for a pay raise for somebody, but I mean, like, if you've got expectations for somebody that...
So maybe it's not even and I mean, they do get a lot of, like, ancillary benefits to go along with these things.
Yeah.
But
you know, they don't get a one-bedroom apartment in Washington, D.C. that's going to cost them $250 million.
Yeah. Well, you know, you would think, like, here's what I would...
Not that much.
Here is what I would do if I was reorganizing that whole system like that. I would probably have government-held offices and bedrooms and things like that, and maybe just keep them there,
like apartments, like papal apartments.
Yeah, something along those lines. You know, something that's not ostentatious, and also something to where they're not competing with each other for, like, you know, fucking, you know, grandeur or anything like that. You've got something that's practical. It suits their needs. It's reasonably nice enough to make that job appealing. But that's not your job. It's not to be, like, living in a fucking fancy house, you know, and things like that.
Like, it can just buy out, like, the Marriott.
Yeah, something along those lines. Honestly, I think that would be...
Or whatever they work a year. What is it, like, 4 months? 4 months out of the year they're working?
Yeah.
I think, something like that. You need to get that job.
It sounds... I mean, aside from the countless phone calls you make, that sounds pretty nice.
No, actually, I think it sounds horrible. Like, I don't know.
You don't want to work for just 4 months a year and not achieve anything whatsoever?
It's like, I don't know if we've discussed this before or not, but, like, you know, there's all those studies that show that, like, the worst managers in any organization across the board are MBAs. Because, like, people who like have the ego that wants to manage and wants to lead, those people are not good managers. Like, they don't have the people skills and they're motivated by the status and by the money and
not by the progression of the system, not by making that a better place to be. And
so their motivation is skewed. There's a conflict of interest or whatever. And I think there's a lot of people that say the same thing about, like, you know, the best person in the world to be president is the person who absolutely does not want the job.
Yeah, and then you would take that and extend that through all the branches of government, basically, because the president truly is not
the people that want to be in Congress. I don't think are generally motivated by.
I'd say it's a rare fucking thing to see one, and even among the best.
I'm sure statistically, though, I mean, I'm sure it does happen.
Yeah,
from time to time. I'd like to think.
I bet they go and then they just get fucking crushed. Their dreams, and then they have to just see their.
Yeah, but I mean, I've heard from people on both the right and the left, in little intimate interviews and things like that there are people that still are reasonable and want what they think is best for people instead of just the ideologues that we have. And I mean,
fair enough.
But I don't know, we have a system that promotes ideologues, though.
It's the only. It's the currency we all.
Extremists are the ones that vote, so everybody becomes an extremist to sort of pander to that.
Extreme. Until you probably can't even tell what you are anymore. I imagine you probably do it for some.
You lose yourself, or you were never that nice to begin with.
Fair. Which is once again back to the.
I think there's that assumption that that these people, a lot of these people, started out
as good people. God-fearing folk.
Not really sure. If you watch the first episode of House of Cards, you really kind of get
probably the most realistic.
You're I know who this guy is.
Yep, you're that bad guy that.
Yeah, you're not a good human being.
Fair enough. Did that just? That was cut off, or was
that was Twitter.
Okay, gotcha.
Twitter is calling my name.
And what's it got to say for itself? It's okay. I don't really care that much. So.
Somebody just retweeted something about the Super Bowl. Today's the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
yay!
Guys.
We don't care.
Yeah, guys.
We don't care. My wife and I went to a local Italian restaurant so we could have a Super Bowl of salad and unlimited breadsticks.
Do they do that?
Yeah.
Or was that? I thought maybe that was just a thing that you called it. But
that is what we call it.
Okay, but
they do salad and breadsticks, and we just call it a Super Bowl.
Okay. So it's not like this is a special for the Super Bowl.
It's our yearly affirmation that we don't give a shit about sports.
Yeah, that's a reasonable thing to do.
All you sports fans out there, I'm sorry, but what you do is the Dungeons and Dragons for popular people. It's the dorkiest fucking shit in the entire world, and if you memorize stats, you should have yourself sterilized.
What about the team, the rising, I'm a part of something?
Yeah. I think that's a relic of I
guess you could probably
tribal,
take that
evolution.
Yeah. Seems like that.
And I don't know. It's like, I bet to me it's like, why don't you just play video games? I mean, because you can participate in that. It's like these are all the people that didn't make the team. And they're all just shouting.
Okay.
And everything.
See where you're going with that.
So get Call of Duty and just get online and
kill some folk.
Yeah. And there's studies that show that stylized violence is actually good for us. It sort of lightens up our aggressive.
I didn't even know that they had the ability to do this kind of studies. I assumed that they only were able to do the ones.
We've been studying.
Well, I knew we were
been studying.
I just assumed we would only
whether or not video games will rot your brain or turn you into a murderer since the Nintendo NES.
Sure, I just the ones that I always hear about are always negative or inconclusive studies.
Yeah, they sound like they're inconclusive. They're not.
Yeah,
we've got got enough metadata about collective studies that no, violent people cause violence. And sometimes they turn to violent video games, but the vast majority of people who, I mean, it's like smoking, okay, right? So you can't ethically run a study where you give people tobacco,
right,
and then see if they get cancer.
Right, you can't ethically run a
but
study.
You can correlate the fuck out of everything that there is in their lives and determine that there is one factor that they all have in common. If you have lung cancer, you probably smoked cigarettes at some point in time.
Well, I assume because we don't have roving bands of psychopaths, I would have assumed that would have already pretty well known that didn't happen. But
well, I mean, and more than that, like, I mean, the studies that I'm making reference to, and I don't have any references because we didn't plan for this podcast, because this is what we're doing today, guys. We're just winging it. We just came in to hang out and talk about some shit for a little bit and then head home. But like, for like really stylized violence, like, I don't know, like Kill Bill or something.
Yeah.
It usually has enough levity and enough, suspension of disbelief involved in the process that it sort of diffuses the normal,
certainly
violent responses to seeing conflict or whatever. But like things like boxing, ironically enough,
twitch on my eye listening to you, and I don't know if that means that I'm going to attack you. I don't feel rage, but my eye is twitching. So
maybe you're a sleeper agent.
It's possible. It's
Manchurian candidate.
I'm
not important enough.
I've played a lot of video games, so it's very possible.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. You know what?
It'd be the best episode of this podcast.
If you killed me right now?
If I just jumped over the table and attacked you.
It'd also be the last, because this is my house.
Yeah.
This is my stuff.
Everyone likes finales.
That's true.
So...
That's true. It would have made a hell of a good episode of Dexter or something.
Right. Well, we'll hold off on that for now, but just know that I've got it working in the back of my mind. If
you know what? I'm gonna put a pin in that.
All right, awesome. Then I'll put a pin in you. Like right here.
A broken pin. A graveyard pin.
Why do you even have, like, this one doesn't even have a pen nerds to it?
That's you.
How's this me? What do I do?
I don't look. These are my pins. All right, my pins. I don't buy disposable pins.
You are an artist. Yeah, okay.
And so you're the big man.
I think this is a work pen. Well, I think I'd steal pens from work to bring them over here to leave.
What I think is interesting is that you either brought an empty pen to write with, or during the podcast you chewed the pen out of it.
I think I'm more likely just like went like this over and over again, and went.
I don't know, but I don't see a pin insert, so
had to get rid of the
seems
evidence.
to me like maybe you did bring a broken pin.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I like that. That's better.
I mean, you could have eaten it, but I think I would have noticed.
That'd be great if I just like spit out the great. Oh,
well,
man.
You didn't.
I wish we had special effects for this thing, because that would have been amazing.
I'm not even fucking with that shit. It takes me long enough to fucking clip 15 seconds out of these damn things.
We have to do practical effects then. So we'll have to actually eat a pen.
We do.
Time. Did you spit fire? Is that what? Or was
that was just my mouth exploding.
Okay.
That's basically what I was going for.
We'll fix it in post. It's cool.
There's no post. There's no post. People that have watched this show, which is, I think,
it's like 3.
Yeah, record lows at this point.
I don't know. Did I probably didn't post these, actually. I just realized that. I think I was meaning to post the last couple. I don't know.
Well, it just shows you exactly how many of my friends fucking care.
Yeah. It does.
None of them.
I think I've had the most views from ones that I've posted. So
I have 2 different women on opposite ends of the country that click like on everything that I post.
Except for this.
And when I post stuff about the podcast, nothing.
That's incredible.
Which that's a statistic.
You know, you need to bury the lead in what you post. Like, post about something else, and then
like
at the end,
talking about my dog,
throw
or something,
in this, and that way they'll just click on it, and then it'll get out there a little more.
I got to try to hone up on my clickbait skills. That's what I need to do.
We really should be listing these
podcast
as really like inflammatory statements, I think.
We should be like,
oh man, we got to do that.
I hate your mom.
Well, I mean, I was going to get a little more specific, but yeah, you could probably
like, I hate your mom. Like, I hate Jackie.
Yeah. I hate your mom, Jackie, who lives at.
So your clickbait involves doxing.
Yeah. I like to put people in danger for real. No, I think we need to revolutionary cure for cancer, or something like that, and just list it like that.
Oh, interesting.
Let's keep positive.
I don't know how to, like, what do you call a faith healer if you don't want to...
A podcaster without a podcast?
Like, because faith healer, I mean, I think of that as a derogatory term. I'm sure that there's not a whole lot of faith healers running around out there going, I'm a faith healer. I mean, do you think, am I wrong?
You might be wrong, actually.
I could be wrong.
I feel like you're wrong because I feel like I've known someone who, in obscure family circles, who's gone beyond that route, and I believe that they described it as faith healer.
So you have faith they're gonna heal you.
Well,
because I require evidence.
Yeah.
Or at least for someone I like assume to at least have seen some evidence.
I like to at least expect some sort of result, I guess. I don't go into a doctor and need every bit of evidence before I get a treatment done. But
that's true.
I would like to actually see something, come out of it.
But I mean, like, I don't know. You can't really look up on the internet, or I mean, you could, but like, you can't background check and say, look, okay, so I have fibromyalgia. Is that real?
Yeah, There's problems with that. Yes, yeah. there's definitely some.
Which, by the way, for all you fibromyalgia sufferers out there,
fake, guys.
No, it's not fake. It just means that the doctor doesn't know what's wrong with you. That's why they call it.
Listen to him. He's making inflammatory statements to make you click onto this. Definitely.
I feel like that's about as reasonable as I can get about fibromyalgia.
What about faith healers?
I can't. What's that?
Is that as reasonable as you can get with faith healers as well?
Faith healers. Yeah, there's no bounds of reason there, I don't think.
It's reasonable. I find that reasonable.
And with that, you got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't, actually. Okay. I'm trying to think. You got any other topics?
I was just going to start off with my Kurzweil and see where it went, and I guess we started off with Kurzweil and saw where it went.
Yeah, where it went.
Where did it go?
Faith healers?
Oh, that's right. I don't think we got into that very deeply, but that's fine.
The Kurzweil or the faith healers?
Either.
Yeah. It's probably best.
It's fine.
I find if you look into faith healers, just like if you look at a Kurzweil, it all just sort of falls apart.
Yeah, so. There's going to be some discrepancies.
Yeah. It's all just theories.
Right. It is all just theories.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us for this, whatever this was.
Cheers.
Yep.
Hope you enjoyed. Probably going to stick this up, even though it's pointless.
I don't see why not.
I'm just going to title this one Pointless. So I think that's good.
Maybe we don't even give it an episode number. Call it Pointless.
We'll just call it Intermediary.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Hey, so if you like what you saw, and why would you?
if you do,
give us a like.
Probably go back and watch the other ones first. Because
you can shout into the void at us on Twitter. We are at Clickbait Pod, and you can give us an email if you still send emails. Does anybody do that? You can't text me, but you can send me an email if you want.
If you send me an email, I'll give you his number to text.
Clickbait the podcast, even though it's not really a podcast yet. But anyway, it's free. It's free.
Clickbait the YouTube for video.
Yeah, Clickbait. Layers.